yes. Yes, it is that time. It's time for Happy Hour with the Lincoln. Let me give the official cheers to all my good trading friends, my friends in general, or those just passing by for the first time. Welcome to Happy Hour. This is where week by week I'll do my best to answer all of your stock market related questions. Or maybe I'll just rant about something in the market. Or who knows? Maybe I will bless you with some senseless story that I find motivating, that you find a little weird, all in the attempts to help you become a more consistent and professional trader. Now, if you guys have topics that you think would benefit the trading community, make sure you send them over to me at support@thelincolnlist.com. If you need help with your trading and you're struggling in this market and you need guidance, or you just want to up your game and align yourself with a professional trading community, I want you to click this link right here. It'll take you to our live trade room. You can start trading with us right away. And last but not least, you know it's good. It's not good, it's great. It's great for the trading community, and that's the new DVD, Rock Solid. The 3 main trader components it takes to be successful. Not only is it a great DVD, but it's free. That's even better, right? It's my gift to the trading community. It's totally free. Just click on the link and start watching it. Apply these 3 trading components to your business and see if it helps you out. So here's what we're going to talk about. Let me stretch out for a second. A question you guys ask a lot. And that is, how long is this whole trading thing going to take? How long is it going to take me to reap the fruits of successes and drink the wine of victory? How long? How long is this thing going to take you? Now, this is a tough question to answer because everybody's different as far as how much money they have to start with and how much time they can devote to it. You know, some people have part-time jobs and they have to do this. Some people can devote 100% of their time. Everybody's different. So in order for me to answer this thing effectively, I first want to ask all of you this question. And that is, what does success mean to you? What is success to you, I should say? Because in theory, being successful at trading just means you're profitable. So you could be profitable by $1 every single year. And in theory, that's success because you can say, I'm a profitable trader. I made $1 every year for 10 years straight. Of course, we all would look at that and go, that's not successful. That's actually a waste of my time. It's stupid. You're exactly right. But in theory, you are successful. So you first must define success. Are you looking for like the ultimate wealth? The Italian sports cars, the mansions, the yachts? Is that what you want? Are you just trying to replace an income and get out of the old cubicle 9-to-5 thing? No, have you be your own boss. That would be success for you. Or you just want to make more money by investing your own account and instead of watching your mutual funds not be able to keep up with the S&P. You know, what is success to you first? And it's okay to have smaller at the beginning. So I'd like to make a little bit of money, and then maybe a year down the road I'd like to do this, or maybe 10 years down the road I see myself having a yacht, all that good stuff. You can do that as well. But first you must ask yourself, what does success mean to you? Because that'll make a big difference in the way that you approach the business and how much time you're devoting to it and everything else. Now, before I get into this, there was something I did a while back in reference to this, and it was called the Trader Timeline, because it's hard to tell as well somebody's ability to adapt to something. Some people adapt to things quickly and they catch on quickly. Others take a little bit longer time to figure it out. You know, it doesn't matter. We all can end up in the same place at the same time, but for each and every one of us, we learn at different speeds and we learn in different ways. That's what makes this so difficult. So I did this timeline because I think every single trader goes through these certain periods. And before I go into the actual timeline, I want to go into what I call as a pre-timeline. And that means I'm assuming that you have already done a couple of these other things before you thought or even remotely thought about being successful. And that is what we've talked about in a dozen of these happy hours, a dozen of these whiteboards. It's in the DVDs. It's about knowing what type of a trader you are, what type of a process you have, what it is you're looking for. So when we look at this timeline, you should be able to be somewhat consistent. You should be seeing consistency on a more regular basis at about the 6-month to the 1-year mark in your trading. Now that goes after that pre-timeline. That's assuming that you've already put in place some sort of process, that you've already went through that. Now, if you're a trader who was like myself, who bounced around from trading system to trading system, couldn't figure out who they were as a trader for the longest time, would, you know, more look for alerts and that kind of stuff rather than learning to trade, then it's going to be a lot longer for you before you even get to that original timeline, if that's making sense to you. So wherever you are right now, I would urge you that if you're new to this, you don't know what's going on, you first must define who you're going to be as a trader, what it is you're going to trade, and how you're going to find it. There's just absolutely too much going on in the marketplace for you to zero in on everything. Like I said in the last couple of happy hours, I think as well as in DVD as well, you can't be the world's greatest option trader, the world's greatest stock trader, the world's greatest commodity trader. You can't be all of those at the same time. There's like no Bo Jackson traders in this thing. So that's assuming you guys have already done that. Now I want to go back and I want to talk about this 6 months to 1 year. That doesn't necessarily mean, I said consistency. That doesn't mean that you're going to be rich in 6 months or you're going to be able to quit your job in 6 months to a year. What it means is that you have seen enough of the market. You have tested the system or process that you have in place. You've dealt with the variances. You've made adjustments to it. You've added maybe a few indicators or took away a few things. You've streamlined your system and your business down to where you know exactly what it is you're going to do, where you're going to find it, how you're going to execute it, and now you're starting to see consistency. So you can look at a chart and you say, this is probably what's going to happen. You trade it, and that happens. Now, there still will be learning curve after that. Okay. That doesn't mean that you can't be making money or turning profit in that period of time. So I would say if you already have that process in place and you can put in a full-time shift every day, all 6-7 hours while the market's open, all of that screen time, you should start to see consistency, if not before 6 months, at least by 6 months to 1 year. If you're doing that, you are on the right track. Now, again, if you have a part-time job and you can only trade 2 or 3 days a week, or you can only trade here and there, okay, you got to stretch that out. You're going to need that screen time because there's only so much knowledge that you can take in via books, via DVDs. Real world trading is going to make the best type of education. You need that screen time. So we're talking about 6 months to a year. This is what I referred to before in the past as the holding tank. Because in this, you're still experiencing new types of markets. And a lot of this has to do as well, what time did you start? So like if you're a new trader and you started in December, that was your first time at trading, you saw like the worst sell-off in 2 or 3 decades, followed by the biggest rally in the last decade. So your first 2 to 3 months in the business has been the most extreme. So you never know as well when you're going to come into that. Now, after the year mark, everybody who's been able to put in quite a bit of time at this and study, you should be able to make money just about every single month. You really should at that point after 1 year. Now, I didn't say you were going to make enough to pay your bills, but you should be not just consistent, but you should be profitable. You should have already obtained that much knowledge to where you are profitable. Now, the reason I say you might not be able to pay your bills is I think in the longer term, as we're talking about the whole entire timeline, I think you need 4 or 5 years before you've really seen just about every scenario, and hell, maybe even longer. I mean, it's one of these things that's just ever evolving. Like I said, I'm 2 decades in and I'm still seeing stuff right now that surprises me sometimes. Well, I shouldn't say surprised. I'm never really surprised, but say baffled, for lack of a better word. So let's get back on topic. After 1 year, you should be profitable most of your months. Now, if you're not, that doesn't mean you're a loser or you're dumb. It just means that maybe you haven't found that strategy, or you haven't been able to put enough time into it, or maybe it's just taking you a little bit longer to learn. There's no timeline. There's no real like scientific fact that says this is just how long it takes people to do it. Now, after that first year, you're going into your second year, you should start to see respectable results after 2 years. You really should start seeing respectable results where you're making, not millions, but you should be able to say, look, your business is slowly increasing itself in a nice little linear movement. You're making a little bit more here, you're making adjustments, you're changing with the market, you're doing all of that. And then after that, about the 3 to 4 year, you really should start to, if you're coming into this to be professional, that's when you really should be making the transition. Or if you're not, you will have answered the question that after you put 3 or 4 years in it, if you're still not making it, it's like, well, maybe it's just not for you. Again, that doesn't make you an idiot or stupid or inferior. It's just, maybe it's not for everyone. It's not something that everybody can do. So when you're thinking about this, you have to ask the question about what does success mean to you first. How much time do you have to devote to this? And you have to really put yourself into screen time. Again, I'm not against books and DVDs. I just talked about a DVD when it started. But in order for you to do this, you have to expose yourself to the market as much as you can, because something that can't be taught by anyone is what you see with the eyes in real time. You've got to experience this in real time and deal with it, because there's moments where things are just clicking along and then you have these abrupt changes in the market, like Fed meetings or tweets these days, or hit pieces on stuff, and things happen, and they happen quickly, and you have to be able to train yourself to react quickly, to move quickly, to be decisive quickly. And that's what takes people the longest time. It only takes you like a month to learn a strategy, if that. Like, you can learn a strategy on a weekend. You can read a chart like in half of a day with some accuracy. But that's the parts that's going to be real difficult, and that's what you guys are going to struggle with if you haven't already struggled. So what I want you to do is, if you're struggling right now, let's say you're just not successful at all and you've been doing it for a while, I want you to forget everything you've ever done in the past. And I want you to commit yourself to the next 6 months. If you're brand new, I want you to commit yourself to the next 6 months. And here's what I want you to do, because if you guys already done this and you're successful, this really doesn't apply to you right now. You're at a different level and you're trying to do different things. I want you to think about just one strategy. That's it. I want you to wipe out everything you know and pick one that you like the best. I want you to focus on that. And I don't want you to focus on how do you find that every day. How do you find that little edge in the market? And then I want you to work on finding just that every day and nothing else. Don't really care what's going on in the market, what other stocks are doing. One stock, one edge, one strategy, and exploit that. Now, if you need help with that, I'll give you the stock and I'll share a couple strategies with you. Just send me an email, support@lincolnlist.com. So to answer the question, how long does this take? You should have consistency between 6 months and a year. You should know what you're doing, and you should be able to put consistency, win most of the time, and win on a regular basis. Not making tons of money, but you should be consistent. After the first year, you should be making money just about every single month, most of the months out of there. And then by years 3 and 4 is when you really should blossom into who you are and how you're going to do this as a trader. Again, maybe those timelines will take you longer. Like, it took me 5 years to actually profit. So, who knows? But remember, life is long. The stock market will always be here. Just sometimes you got to go back to the drawing board. And even throughout this 4 years that you're really successful, or 5 years that you become successful, you'll still have bad months. You'll still have really bad trades. You'll still have really bad things that you'll have to correct. You'll have to rehash every once in a while. You'll go through peaks and valleys. So I kind of hope that answered your question. 6 months a year, you should be consistent. After 1 year, you should be winning every month. By the, let's say, 4 and 5 years, you should really have developed into the trader that you set out to be in the first place. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this happy hour. As always, reach out to me if you need help. And again, trade well. Cheers.